Ni howdy and welcome back to the channel. I have strategically transferred a 203mm indirect fire weapon onto my combat vehicle. For my next magic trick, I will be directly firing said weapon at an innocent bystander. Please observe. Curse Tank Simulator is a game where you play as General Dynamics Land System's greatest engineer, guided by an infernal creature and blessed with the anomalous ability to combine tank components in physically impossible ways. It is up to you to engage in air-land battle, minus the air, utilizing techniques like the famous Ukrainian missile torture, and transplanting precisely 3.47 kilograms of high explosives into your enemy. All this so you can rank up, cash up, and buy up all the stock to support your local small business tank dealership. To create a vehicle capable of bringing justice at 1,509 meters per second to the mortar creating and crate embezzling CEO. And all this on a Roblox game somehow. To buy better tank parts, we need money. Living next to the Great Forge of the Forever Chemicals has taught me the most efficient way to make money is to kill people. I'm just kidding, we're gonna do e-commerce instead, joining 7 other entrepreneurs on maps like the snow, Nam, and it's up to us to supply 8 unwilling members of the free market with second-hand ammunition at lethal velocities. And occasionally, we will have to hippity-hoppity over to the cap point and declare it as our property. In the spirit of great games like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the original one, not the one where you get sent to Chirac, this game features unlimited respawns with no cost and persistent lobbies. This is a long-lost game design principle called not punishing the player for playing the fucking game. The developers even let you vote for the next map in game mode. This game also features groundbreaking innovations like the ability to choose whether or not your aim gets destroyed by smoothing, a control scheme that can be played without 8 modifier keys and 3 mouse buttons, and removing the ability to scout people from behind 17 walls. But if this was all there was to the game, I would rather play something better like Gorbino's Quest of Life, which has 500 hours of mind-pumping action. So I think it's time to talk about the military-industrial complex gameplay. Now, some people look at the ability to put any turret on any hull, use any gun, and proceed to engage in live-action roleplay. But on this channel, we play the game to win, which means I will be spending the next 18 hours coming up with a good build. No, like, I'm actually serious. You can genuinely spend an entire afternoon on this because of the enormous amount of mechanics at play. From the very small and basic things like your hull's power to weight ratio to the specific generation of thermals you want and the max range of your fire control system. Almost everything in this game is dependent on something else. For example, your turret influences how fast your gun reloads, but your gun changes how fast the turret rotates. And if you put a very big gun on a very light hull, you might accidentally discover some new movement tech. Gen 3 thermals might trump Gen 2s, but it might not matter if the person with the Gen 2s also packed a ground search radar. But luckily for you, you might just be a little bit too far away for his fire control system to make the shot, forcing him to go manual. And in that time, you might take the opportunity to pop smoke. But if he's launched some smoke-ignoring fire and forget missiles, that might not actually save you unless you brought APS. In some cases, you might want to specialize. If the enemy team has, for whatever reason, voted the same open desert map for the last 5 fucking times and are using the same fire and forget ATGM carrier, you might want to channel your fury into cold and calculated revenge. Perhaps you could build a tank with a Gen 3 thermal, a radar, some hydro-pneumatic suspension to deal with the turret's crappy depression, holy crap that rhymes, and a gun that fires a shell which sails over cover before imparting the blast effects of 18.43 kilograms of TNT on said ATGM carrier. Guys, I think the game may be a little bit complicated, and the game is going to get a little bit more complicated. Parts are organized into 12 tiers, and you can finagle a part of your build to down tier another part from 1 tier above. Although interacting with this mechanic can lead you to create some truly Leonardo and Da Vinci designs rather than Leonardo da Vinci designs. Designs like this tank destroyer, which sacrifices armor in favor of being able to use an L-44. As long as I don't get shot, it should be fine. If you're really having trouble, there's a testing range which, be for real with me, is what we play these games for. And also the CTS FD forms, which is telling me that the optimal tier 10 setup can only be created by reversing Brexit. This game features most vehicles anywhere from the nation of South Korea to the great military powerhouse of Ghana. You will have access to parts from real tanks, tanks that should be fake, and just genuinely actually fake tanks. You can bring death and misery to your enemies using parts like the Tohu Simulator, a lobotomized Leopard 2, the legally distinct CV9020T Ghost, the anti-tank shotgun, the Toyota Hilux, a fake M1, a real M1, and the Creature from Hell. Do you want a tiny gremlin with the fastest ATGMs in the West for the sole purpose purpose of deleting people behind cover. You can make that. Do you want a setup that can pop out of cover and bury someone so completely the earth will turn over 1,000 times before their body is dug up? You can also make that. And if you want to make some hell beast and see if you can get it to work in an actual battle, you can do that. And chances are, if you get a small map, it will actually work quite well. And do you want to keep the good content rolling? Because you can also do that by subscribing to the channel and watching my backlog of videos. This game takes place in a world where all transactions involving military equipment are conducted in Japanese currency. Now that we are no longer poor, let's go to the dealership to buy some stuff. Hello, it's me, the suspicious sounding dealership owner. You know what they say? They say that you can buy some parts directly, and let me tell you, they are very tremendous parts. And for our premium stock, you have to use the Great Indian Defense Procurement Strategy and buy these big beautiful blueprints, and you will have to play a gacha game to craft them, and frankly, the what now? While importing various Japanese vehicles into the game 9,000 times, the devs also imported gacha mechanics. Basically, you get crates from battles and you open them up for materials to feed the military industrial complex. And if you, for whatever reason, Silicon, wanted to trade your good crate for a slightly worse crate, you can only do it at a 1-to-1 ratio because the CEO stole the remaining profits. Very rarely, you can pull a 5-star and the game will give you a part that is slightly worse than what you can buy from the dealership. But hey, look, free T14 and free railgun? What? Now let's talk about the entire other game mode I've been ignoring the whole time. CTS has a PVE mode. Here you defend a capture point against waves of enemies. You will face modifiers like having to fight Skynet and events like being declared the next Ayatollah. You will battle in the day, through the night, face British weather, and hello, it's me, Obama. Michelle, put mortars around the map and have them kill the players unless they can guess my last name. Is it not Obama? No. What do you mean? Let me be clear. This is a game mode that will require teamwork, God's strongest barrel, and a coaxially mounted autocannon. But if you win, you will force Santa Claus to give you a down payment on the next 18 Christmas worth of coal, and a lot of money instead of water bottles and socks. Okay, it's time to talk about the Battle Pass. It's not really a Battle Pass, it's more of like a weird hybrid between a Battle Pass and a daily rewards thing. To claim the day's rewards, you complete one of 4 daily missions like Scout 5 people. If that sounds very easy, that's because it is. This is not one of those games. You can grind to top tier in 2 or 3 weeks if you really wanted to. Money and materials are pretty easy to come by, and if you were worried about being 2 minutes late in picking up this game, you can just use tokens to buy the past Battle Pass items, and you can get these from the current Battle Pass and also the big wheel of gambling. If you've been wondering why you haven't heard of this game sooner, that will be because number 1, it's a Roblox game and this guy called David Zucchini appears out of nowhere and kills you if you try to make a good game on this godforsaken platform. Number 2, the largest CTS YouTuber has apparently found a new calling in playing rhythm arcade games, and unfortunately for the CTS community, it looks like he's damn good at it. Lastly, making a video that's just the Object 787 is the result of the CIA replacing the water supply at the Chelyabinsk tractor plant with concentrated vodka. Like the Terminator, it gets double autocannons, but the engineers skipped out on the missiles, but since it's a T-80 hull, it should do fairly well. Let's take it out for a spin. Ignores the whole point of the game, which is to make cursed tanks. Look, someone will have to take up the mantle of content creator for this game, and it will not be me because I'm off to college in a week. This game has issues. Good luck aiming for weak spots through thermals, only 1 crate drops silicon for some reason, and if the enemy has a drill, 1 person on your team will have to play AA for the rest of the round, or everyone on your team will get the flock camera experience. But those are minor issues. The big thing hanging over this game is its identity problem. No, not the fake versus real parts. I think the Jeep with the 32cm gun has made it very clear that this game is not realistic. No, instead, the identity problem is one between big maps and small maps. You have small close-quarter maps where you can just make some contraption or object and have a good time blowing people up. At least in the center lane, you can expect plenty of cover by teammates and there's plenty of action to go around. Then you have these horrific long-range maps where you maybe find 3 people all game and every engagement will be a one-on-one because your teammates are on the other side of the map and they cannot help you at all. You have to build very specifically to survive, and if you play a heavy, prepare to drive 5 minutes to the front line before being blown up from some odd angle. Half the balance complaints, screw it, half the complaints in this game, so Skyfall, Radar, the weather, are caused by map design actually. Just long sightlines everywhere, the complete absence of hardcover, like, dude, what am I supposed to do here? Get the team to help me out? Yeah, have you seen how big this map is? 8 people can't cover this. And trees everywhere, which do nothing against radar, but render you, for the crime of not bringing a radar, completely blind. I think larger maps would do better with 1, a special playlist for more players, and 2, less ridiculous sightlines. As for smaller maps, they could be bigger, but they're honestly okay right now. No, I don't like to brawl, but to the people who say that small maps are all brawling, let me introduce you to what is apparently the best brawler build in tier 10. The issues with the large maps aren't the end of the world. MTC has drones, and if being cross-mapped in the open is bad, try being cross-mapped from behind cover. Should I have put the big list of problems at the end? Yes, because that is how these videos work, but also because the devs do listen to the community and they take their suggestions and they fix problems, whether it's balance, the economy, or something else. And if they didn't listen to the community, we'd be living in a cast-riddled hellhole with every top-tier design being some variation of Hull plus BMPT turret. As far as I can tell, CTS is a passion project that loses its developers' money. But even when judged by real video game standards, it ends up being pretty competent. The point of this video wasn't to say that this is better than every other tank game, it was just to show off a cool thing I play from time to time. And not because I have Stockholm Syndrome, but because it's actually fun. Look, if you wanted a good tank game, you would have paid $30 for your gunner to fire a heat shell at the nearest PC. But if your budget is $0 and your 2 choices were a shop disguised as an airplane game with a tank game stapled on, and this Roblox thingamajig, hopefully this video has convinced you that giving the Roblox thingamajig a try will not be the worst decision of your life.